Hey guys, John Gehring here. I want to show you the four-bearing method in Silent Shark. I'm going to open up a new scenario. As you can see, these are a lot of different options that you can set up for individual scenarios. Later on, we're going to have a campaign where things will just happen on their own. But right now, I'm just going to create a scenario with a single tanker at a certain distance, and here we are. So we begin with a single bearing line based on a single hydrophone reading that the scenario starts with. And all we have is this bearing. We do not know the distance. And if we look at our periscope, it's currently down. So all we have right now, we're below the surface and we have a ship off at this bearing. So I'm going to draw a line out in that direction. That's my first bearing. This is the four bearing method. So as you can guess, we're going to have multiple bearings. I'll start my stopwatch. And we'll go ahead and turn on time compression here, and we'll wait 5 minutes. So the ship is traveling in a certain course at a certain speed, and in about 5 minutes, we will then take another hydrophone bearing to see what bearing it is now. So it was before it was at that bearing, and now we're going to see, did it travel to the left of us? Nope, it doesn't look like it did. So we'll swing back over. And we're assuming then the ship will have traveled to the right, and there it is. So that is the second bearing after exactly 5 minutes. I'm going to draw another line, and that'll be our second bearing. So we now know that the ship traveled from somewhere on the first line to somewhere on the second line in 5 minutes and, well, actually 5 minutes and 10 seconds. So we're now going to wait another 5 minutes for our third bearing. So let's go ahead and move the stopwatch out of the way here and then turn on time compression. But first, you'll notice we're at full stop. That's important for this method because we're having three different bearings from the same point, which isn't all super historical because normally our submarine would be drifting. But in our case and in most simulation cases, it works great. So we're going to go ahead and wait 10 minutes here, or another 5, so that we've been waiting for a full 10 minutes. You'll see the times moving there, and then we'll stop it and then take our third bearing at that point. You could actually see the hydrophone position moving. And since we waited 5 minutes and 10 seconds the first time, we're going to wait 5 minutes and 10 seconds again for the second time. Wait till exactly 10 minutes and 20 seconds. And then we'll go ahead and pause. Now we'll draw another line. So this is our third bearing. So our ship has been moving in a constant speed, constant direction through these three lines. So what we're looking now is we're looking for an angle so that the ship passes with the equal distance between the first and the second line as it is from the second to the third line, because that's the only way it would work if it's traveling at the same speed. So if we use a circle so that the intersection of the circle on the first line is exactly across from the intersection on the third line, that gives us the ability to draw a line through those two intersection points that should then go through the center point of our circle, which of course it isn't right now. I'm going to have to tweak this in a little bit. But the point is, when we do it this way, we find a line so that the distance between the first and second line is the same as the distance between the second and third line. And that'll give us an actual angle already. That'll give us a course of the ship, which is already worth a lot, even though we don't yet know if our distance is correct. Likely isn't. We're just guessing. We're just picking one. And the distance is directly connected to the speed. Also, you'll notice the further away we would guess the distance, the faster it would have to be traveling, and the closer it is, the slower it would have to be traveling. So you can see we have a 2,472 yard radius, which means the diameter is about 4,944. There we go, perfectly. It's not going quite through the center point here, so we may end up with a little bit of an error when we do this method. But anyways, this is now the direction it's headed. So now what we do for our fourth bearing is first we predict, based on our current distance, our random choice of the distance, we predict where the ship would be in another 5 minutes and 10 seconds from now, 2,472 yards further down at a course of 109 degrees. So this is where it would be in 5 minutes and 10 seconds if we happen to have just picked the perfect distance in our original, random pick, which we likely did not. So what we do now is, let's go flank speed. We're still underwater. We're still out of sight. And we will move as far as we can in these 5 minutes and 10 seconds so that we get a better and different angle at where the ship actually is. So we're going to wait another 5 minutes and 10 seconds. So that'll be until 15 minutes and 20 seconds. And then we'll take a fourth actual bearing. And what this will do is this will provide us with a different angle at where the ship actually is. And so because of that, we'll be able to then intersect the actual bearing of where the ship is with our imaginary bearing of where the ship would have been if it was at that distance. And the intersection of those 2 points right there should be right about where the ship is. As you remember, we weren't very precise before in the center point of our circle, etc. But the point is, we have a hydrophone bearing in that direction, and that's where the ship is definitely somewhere on that ship. And before, we were realizing that if the ship had a certain distance, then it would be on that fourth line that we had originally drawn. So because of those two things, because we know it's somewhere on that line and somewhere on the other line, then we know it's going to have to be at the intersection of those two lines. And that means if we now say it's 109 degrees, that means this is where the ship actually had been traveling, and we'll see that the distances once again are all the same. And if the distances are all the same and our current bearing is on that line, then that gives us a rough estimate of where the ship is. Now, what's fun is I can go ahead and go into the settings here and just turn on reveal ships, and then we'll be able to see how good our guess is. So let's turn on reveal ship positions always, and there we go. As we see, it's within, I don't know, about 500, 600, 700 yards. We can see how far away our guess was from the real ones. Yeah, just about 500 yards away. And it is traveling in exactly the direction that we originally, predicted that it would be traveling. So this is super useful because it enables us, even if we don't even have a visual on the ship yet, to know the angle on bow, to know roughly the speed and roughly the distance that the ship is traveling so we can compute an intercept course. So I hope that was fun. I have had a blast making this game. You can play it yourself at the link in the description. And there it is on the Periscope. You can see you could later on do identification. You could use a Stadimeter to figure out exactly how far away it is. So like you would identify this is type TM ship based on the outline. You can then go onto your Stadimeter and then figure out what's the angle. And as you can see on the map there, the yellow box is where the ship would be based on the Stadimeter. It's estimating it. So lots of other cool stuff like that. So check out the game, wishlist it on Steam, and I'll talk to you later.